I'm Sam, welcome back to my channel. If you saw my last video, I was talking about applying for a writing course. I'm trying to get my ass in gear and finish this novel that I want to finish by the end of the year. I gave myself the year to write a first draft because I was being very gentle and kind on myself and I wanted to go slowly, but in doing that, during this first 6 months, I've realised I've hardly achieved anything. The writing's been so slow. So I really just want to start a fire under myself and have some kind of deadline, have some kind of accountability, and just kind of have some stakes to what I'm doing. So I am going to apply for a writing course. If you saw my last video, I was talking about which one I'd chosen, and I think I'm going to apply to the Curtis Brown 3-month writing course, which seems to be highly regarded and I think will just really kick me into gear. It seems to be quite competitive. I think there's 2 classes of 15 students, that's only 30 places, so it might be that I can't get into that, in which case I'll need to go back to the drawing board and see which other one I want to do. But I think I'm going to set my sights on applying for that, and if it only takes that many people, then I think the standard will be quite high if you do get into that class. And if there is a lot of peer reviewing, like you're going to be in there with like people who are good writers or who have had experience or seem to have a lot of passion, I would assume, in order to like get into the course if it is quite competitive. So my challenge now is to decide what piece I want to work on, and I've been really struggling with sorting out the projects I actually want to work on. I've done so much project flip-flopping this year. I've started writing a YA novel. I then switched to, it was like a YA dystopian I was writing called Project Royals, and then I switched to an adult speculative, which I haven't really written very much of, to be honest, now that I say it. I've not flip-flopped that much. I've been flip-flopping between 2 ideas really. But the funny thing is that I think the best thing to work on will actually be neither of these. Will be something that I started working on a couple of years ago that I was intended to do nano for, but I've never done nano, I've never completed it. But I got about 10k words done of something for nano about, when was this? It was a few years ago. Anyway, that story kind of keeps coming to me. It's called Project Island just now, and it's really about like creative soulmates, and it's about muses and yes, I've got all these ideas of what it's about, but I haven't quite connected the dots, and that's why I think this project will be quite useful. I think this project's got the most potential for discussions and for guidance. Like I think the other ones, the project disorientation, I think I was calling it, was the adult speculative. I've got a concept but I don't really have clear character ideas, and Project Royals, I've got characters but I don't think there's a lot of depth there, or there's not. I'm not sure about finding the depth because it's a little bit more surface level, and I think Project Island is probably the one, even though I can't quite grasp how the story's going to be, I think there's quite a lot of complexity there, and that's something I want to learn. And so I think that's, to be honest, like that's why Project Island might be the best one for this, and I think it will be. So I was looking over it just to see where I am with it. So I think I've written, hold on, let me see how much I've written in the project. Oh, okay, I've only got about 8k. I thought I had 10k, so that's a bit disappointing. But to be fair, I think a lot of this will need rewritten already. I put like the first chapter, they need the first 3,000 words. So I've added them to a Word doc now. I've put the first 3,000 words there, and I was having a wee read over. And I think I'm quite happy enough with the first 3,000 words. I think it's after that where it starts to be honest, it started to get a little bit boring, and I wasn't sure why, and I'm not sure what to focus on. I think I was like building up on the island too much, so that's probably something I would need more help with. The first 3,000 words goes to the end of chapter 1 and kind of part way through chapter 2, which I hate. Like I hate giving samples to people and it doesn't finish the chapter, but can't be helped. Like you've just got to, go with what they asked for. I'm supposed to have a synopsis. I've started to write a synopsis, but the synopsis only to be 500 words. I think I've got too many words here maybe. They said they wanted genre, so I would have called this literary or contemporary, I think. And then they want a pitch, like just an elevator pitch. So that's just like a wee summary of the novel, and I think that's really hard. And to be honest, if you are writing a character book, it's really, really hard to make that sound interesting. So yeah, I don't know if this does sound that good, to be honest. So I have tried to write a synopsis. It's really difficult to write a synopsis when you have not written the whole book. I've never done that before, but I've tried to put something together here. And also I've got notes of what I think can happen, but I actually don't know if I would be taking it in the right direction. And you're not going to get the answers to that until you write through it. Like if you're not particularly plotting, and with these types of books I don't really like to plot, or I don't like to plot too much. I'd like to just have a rough idea. Okay, let's see. So when applying to one of Curtis Brown's selective novel writing courses, we like to see a good one-page synopsis of your novel as part of your pitch package. One page should be enough for you to cover all the information that's needed. Don't heap praise on your own novel. I certainly wasn't planning to. I can't find out like what their expectations are of this synopsis in terms of how detailed it needs to be, because obviously if you haven't written the book, like you don't know all the main plot points. So I've kind of written something and have a rough idea of what I'm thinking. I mean, I think if you're doing a writing course like this, is going to change anyway, so I shouldn't be too concerned about it. And I know a lot of people actually do write synopsi. A lot of people do write synopsis as part of like their plotting and like the beginning stages of a novel, because if you write the synopsis then you've got an idea of where the whole novel is going to go. But I think the vast majority of people probably don't write a synopsis until they need to, until they're querying, because it's not the most enjoyable thing to write. And you know, trying to condense all these story ideas and all these plot points and characters into like one page, they want one page, is just really, really difficult, like knowing what to put in and knowing what to leave out. Luckily, because I don't know too much, I'm just writing what I think is a rough idea of the story. But I don't know if it sounds interesting. And the fact of the matter is, these literary novels aren't always all about plot, they're more about character, so it doesn't seem like that much happens in them. So the comp titles I'm using are The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Rebecca, and Where the Crawdads Sing. These are like more just the vibe of the book and certain themes of the book. So that's kind of, I'm trying to think about these and like how their synopsis would be, and like how interesting would the synopsises be for these, because a lot of it is like through character relationships, and I'm not sure, like they have actually got really good plot points as well, but it's not like twists and turns. Actually, was The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo twists and turns? I just remember when I read that book, like I read it so fast. I think I would reread that actually. And Rebecca. And then Where the Crawdads Sing's just got like a sort of similar vibe, because she's like on an island and it's kind of to do with like nature and feeling disconnected and isolated. And I think when I think about that book, that's sort of what I think about. Yeah, so those are the ideas that I'm thinking for this novel. And I don't know what other information they need in the application. I think there might be a cover letter, which would be interesting because I haven't obviously written that yet. Let me see. Writing your novel, 3 months. Let me see, so if I say apply now, I'm not going to apply now because I need to read this over more. Okay, about you and your writing. Why do you want to take this writing course? No more than 150 words. Okay, that's not much. Have you ever had any work published or won any awards or prizes? No. Do you have any other writing achievements you'd like to tell us about? No. Please tell us a little bit about your current and past employment. That's not relevant for me. Have you ever taken a writing course before? I have actually. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about your accessibility needs at this stage? Do you have a tutor preference? Sample work upload, submit your application. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm dealing with here then. I think the most important thing is going to be that 150 words of why do you want to take this course. That's going to be the main thing that I need to work on, so I'll have to have a rethink about that. Okay, I mean, there's nothing else really. Okay, so I think I've decided Project Island. It's got the most to it, even though I have struggled to write it, and I think I've written myself down the wrong path. So I do need to, I think this course is starting September, so over the next couple of months I think I would really want to, I think probably the best thing I can do is edit what I've got so far, so that I want to continue on from there. Or should I just continue on? No, I think it's better to edit what I've got, and then I'll have something stronger to work with, although I do want to be completely open to change. That's something, like, if you spend a lot of time editing before you go for feedback, then you become like more attached to what you've already written because you've rewritten it a little bit. So I'm not very attached to this, to be honest, because I've written it a couple of years ago and because I'm not sure about the path I've gone down. And I also have this feeling that it might be good to add in some kind of framing device or structure, like the kind of thing I've not done before, especially, you know, if there is like murders involved. And, you know, sometimes these books, I'm trying to think, like Rebecca, I think, starts like that. Does it? It does start with an implication that there is a murder. And then I think, like, Where the Crawdads is like that as well. Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, that has the mystery around, you know, why Evelyn Hugo wants that. I forget the main character's name, but it has the mystery around why Evelyn Hugo particularly wants that journalist to interview her. So definitely, you know, I want to be open to try and think about interesting hooks or framing device, or just things that are a wee bit, there are things I think that are a little bit beyond my capabilities as a writer just now, which is a bit sad. And I think that's where I want to push myself. So that'll be like where I think it'll be really beneficial for me to even just like speak to other writers on this course. I think like the other books I've written, I think, you know, I was writing like where my skill was. I think I was writing at my skill level, and now I've plateaued a little bit. So I want to try and take it to the next level. Taking it to the next level means like a framing device. I don't know, like I have this idea of somehow like getting to the next level for myself, even though I'm not sure what that looks like. Because at the same time, like if you have a particular style or a particular voice, you know, you don't want to sound like other people, even if you admire those other writers, so you need to hold on to that voice. But then partly I think I'm kind of growing out of the voice that I was writing in, like through my 20s and 30s. I think I did have quite a particular voice that I usually wrote in, that I'm trying to, not that I'm trying to, but I think actually I probably have like a natural departure from that, and that's where I feel, oh, I could be trying to move to the next level now and try to develop a new voice and try to like work on the craft better. And there, you know, there are certain books that I read where I know it's really, really good quality, and a lot of the time it's quite hard to break down like why it's such good quality. So that is something I want to focus on as well in order to just try and improve. So yeah, I'm excited. I am excited. I need this motivation. I need something to get me going. Like I haven't committed fully. And I think again, I have been changing projects a lot, so obviously that just doesn't help. And I gave up, I think, on this Project Island because it got too complex and it got beyond, you know, what I felt confident writing. But now, you know, if I have it in my mind that I want to push myself and I want to get better, and I do, and I think this course is going to be good for that. I don't know. The first step is applying. So I need to take a little bit of time and think about that 150 words of why I want to apply. That's obviously not much, so I need to like try and narrow that down. And I think the 3,000 words are quite strong. They do kind of represent where I want the book to go. And then the synopsis, I just can't see that they can be expecting an amazing synopsis, because obviously people, their books are in various states of completion, and as far as I can see, like, they don't mind people taking the course who are just like getting started on the novel. So, you know, I don't think they would be expecting like a super tight synopsis. Like, I hope not anyway, because mine is not super tight. It's a bit all over the place. So yeah, I think I'm happy with the application pack so far, and I'm just going to finish that and get that away. And let me just check the deadlines, because I think the deadline is July. So let me see. We're mid-June just now. Okay, here's the date. So the application deadline is the 20th of July. Okay, so it's like about a month from now. So I have got time, but probably better I just like try and get this in as soon as I can. And then it says the application notifications of the 24th of July, so that's a super quick turnaround. I'm pleased about that. So yeah, I'll keep you updated, and I think that's the main thing I need to do for this. So I'm pleased. Once I get that out of the way, then I'll commit to editing what I've got for this. That's going to be like my main focus now. And then trying to develop, obviously now I've got like a rough synopsis idea because I've been forced to do that, but I need to actually like plan, you know, what I think. And you know, I think I've made some wrong choices on this so far, so like the editing is going to be quite intense, I think, to get this into a good place where I'd want to start with the course. But yeah, this is what I need. I want to push myself. I want to have more of a challenge. I need to get more structure, and I talked about in my goals how I'm going to do that. So I'm going to create a plan for myself for July and August anyway, like before September, and you know, really figure out like how I'm going to make time for working on this, because I really do want to focus on this and finish the book like I'd set out to do. It's quite important to me that I wanted to finish a book this year. So I just need to push myself. And that's the plan. I hope the course is going to help. And please let me know if you're doing any courses, or like how you push yourself to get motivated, and what kind of ambitions you have. And if you've got any advice for me in terms of these courses, please do let me know. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!